sometimes in pre-debuts, you do miss them, and so therefore you do a normal debut. And YouTube Roulette on today's episode brought me a new group alert. This is Idid. I know it's called Idid because their first mini album or EP or whatever the fuck it's called, the debut thing, was called I Did It. Not to be confused with I Did It, which is a different song that I think was from a different group that we just did recently that was also a debuting group. Was it Amp that did that one? I don't remember. I think Amp did that one. AXMXP. We're going to see them next episode. This, however, is Chanran. I don't know. Look, we're going to do some research what we're going to do. Idid is a 7-member South Korean boy group under Starship Entertainment. The group was formed through the survival show Debuts Plan. The group consists of Younghoon, Minjae, Wonbin, Yuchan, Seonghyun, Junhyuk, and Semin. There was also a Jungwon, but they left the group right before debut. In June, they have released their first pre-debut in July 24th, but this is their actual debut here. Age ranges, I believe, 2005 makes 20 years old, all the way to the baby of the group, which I think is 16. Hold on, I can check real quick. That's this person, 2008, so 18, 28 is 20. 27 is 19, 26 is 17, 18. They're like 16 or 17, somewhere around there. I love doing new group alerts. We haven't had a lot of new groups, but we know that eventually someone has to have the best debut and be among all the other people that won my award for best debut. So, I'm Ddog, this teacher reacts. Let's enjoy a new group, shall we? Wasn't expecting you to yell at me. Already love that the captions have everybody's names on it. Love when they do that. I love the going back and forth with like little ad-libs and stuff. It's nice. Good way to keep up the pace. I say as they slow down the pace. Rap break?
You will be tested.
Yeah. Let's go. 일어날 시간 아까 못 풀어 신발끈을 묶어 켜 이어가자 어디든 두근대는 박동에 맞춰 켜 Happy okay 공기 okay 뭔가 좋은 예감이 소란스럽게 유쾌하게 가보자고 Let's pump it Fast and slow 상관없어 We like the vibe 우리들만의 속도를 맞춰가
I like that added guitar. Ooh, I like that too. That was a nice little part. I wasn't really that into it because it's very by the books so far. I want them to experiment a little bit. Because you're a debuting group. You need to do something that doesn't sound like every other debuting group. They keep the pace up. Bridge.
And now, the breakdown.
Wow. I asked, and they delivered. I like him a lot. Sungyeon, I think that was his name. I like him a lot. Okay. Interesting. It's definitely potential's the word here. I think there was definitely parts where I was a little bit afraid, because as we've talked about before, as we've talked about with debuting groups, if you are debuting in the year of 2025, you need something to make yourself stand out some way. And there's always the fucking debut boy group sound. That is really the first like solid minute of this song, is that it's upbeat and cutesy and poppy and, you know, just very safe. And like, I get that safe is something you want to go to during a debut because you're wanting to showcase all the members properly as like, hey, this is our first foray into us trying out a thing. I just want to let you all know that. So here's all of our members. Here's what they do. We're going to have a little rap break and let the rappers do their thing. We're going to, you know, let our vocalists do a little bit of vocaling and, you know, having a fun time. We're going to showcase their dancing. That's why we have it a little bit more upbeat, but also we're going to have some slower parts that aren't that upbeat. So that way we can showcase our vocals. I get that is what's happening. And all of that is fine and dandy, except for the fact that every single boy group does that nowadays. And me, a person who, you know, mainly focuses on the boy groups, I mainly do, because that is the thing that my channel is built upon. I do get wore out when we have the same debut over and over again with the same concept over and over again, same style over and over again. And I get that me using the word concept is something that I gotta be careful with because, you know, the concept of this music video is not the same concept as like, you know, Kickflip's Great music video. I'm thinking concept as in like big picture of the entire group sort of concept, which we don't really get nowadays. Look, and I know that is something I've ranted about before, how a debuting group really struggles at finding an identity. And like, you need to find that identity over time. Luckily, there are certain groups that have found that identity. Boy Next Door is one of those groups I can go to where I know what their sound's going to be because it is very much produced like a Block B style of a group where you're going to have a very Block B style of sound. We talked about that before with certain songs. I think Zico produces them. So that's with like Boy Next Door. You have that. You might get some slides and stuff. With Kickflip, we just got Band-Aid, which was another exploratory song of theirs where they were showing a different style than like Great was. They did show more of a hip-hoppy style, and Band-Aid is not hip-hoppy at all. It's got a much more rocking feel. I fucking love Band-Aid. Now we have, let's go to a group that we talked about now, which is Idid. This group right here. They, for the most part, were playing it very safe, showcasing all their vocals, doing a nice pretty little pop song of not really doing much with it. It's a little bit more upbeat. We're not going to take many challenges. We're not going to take many experimental things. And so I proposed that question during the thing. I said, I really hope that they do something to make themselves stand out. And they do when it comes to what they called the breakdown. I'm going to find it. Hold on. Here. This part. Okay, before we talk about the vocals that are coming up next, I really like that they did stop the entire song for that, because that part does sound a whole lot different than the beginning of the song. It sounds better, in my opinion. I love things that sound a bit more experimental. It's not something that sounds out of the ordinary. Like, we've heard K-pop groups do that sort of thing, where they're gonna drop an instrumental and kind of just do a bunch of vocals that are all like really fast and like kind of like one note of I'm not gonna say monotone, it's just one note, that that whole thing over and over again. So oh wait, no, go back.
Yeah, just feel the flow.
And now, the breakdown.
Ooh. It's not even one note because it goes down and up a little bit. I also like that there is background vocals to that. It's just hard because his vocals are very, very loud, which is okay. I like this part a lot as well. You get a rapper that's doing his whole thing and stuff, Songyeon. That's the person that I think he's my favorite out of the group so far. But you also, while he's doing very, very fast lyrics, what is something that Ddog loves as well? When you have someone else that is doing some notes on top of it, and you have someone doing notes on top of it. Yeah, nice. Yeah, Minjae doing that part? Great. Do you do the other part as well? I think, maybe. I missed it. And then it really goes to a proper climax towards the end where it really is picking up the pace and having a good time. I think this is good. I think as a debut, it is very a story of two halves. First halves being a little boring, little by the book. Second half being a little bit more spicier, which is great. We need something with a little bit more of an attitude, a little bit more of a personality. You got to have a personality if you are debuting in 2025. It is hard to debut a group nowadays because the market is so saturated. There are so many groups. And it's not like there's always been so many groups, but there pretty much has always been so many groups. Because think about second and third gen, how like when people debuted, there are so many groups from back then that was like just a flash in the pan that you didn't really see because, you know, they never got a hold, never got a footing of like, you know, a right footing. And nowadays, now that K-pop has blown up to be that really big global sensation that it is for, which it is, like there are so many international fans as well as, Korean fans as well from Korea, that there is a lot more room, but there's a lot of groups, so that room is taken up very quickly. I really think this is good, though. I think this is good. Yeah, I think it's good. It doesn't go too cutesy on me, and I think that's the real thing that I like about it, because I'm not a big fan of cutesy stuff when it comes to debut. Thank goodness we'll never get anything like that chewing gum disaster that we got that one time. Look, you can go watch my Flashback Friday on that if you want. Outro time. Like, comment, subscribe. Find me on Patreon. Find me on BlueSky.
This video gets a 4 out of 5.
A 4? A 4 out of 5. That's a large number. That's an 80%. It's a solid passing grade. That's a B. Yeah? Yeah, that's a B. That's a B. I mean, look, as for debuts, I would give it about, you know, a B. So I think, you know, you're on to something there. I don't rate things, though. At least not during this. I will if I ever look at an entire discography. You can go watch one of those videos. I need to work on another one of those.